What's up guys, it's Missy. I'm back with another SimCity Build-A video. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about the Missy's Building Guide and regional maps. Maybe you guys are almost to the point where you're going into Missy's Building Guide 3. Now, this is not the point where you guys would be unlocking regional maps just yet. Okay, I have videos up about Missy's Building Guide 3, but this is Missy's Building Guide 4. Stage 4 is when you go into unlocking regional maps. This means that you have completed all of your epic projects from levels 1 to 43. Okay, now you have two options here. When you get to level 31 is kind of like your crossroads, and I talked about that in Missy's Building Guide 3. That's when you're going to decide whether or not you want to go with an Omega map, if you want to go with the High Pop City, or if you want to continue on with a design city, which would be basically the most efficient city that you can fundamentally, like with your services and resources, but then kind of like basically what my city is. Basically the best it can be, but then design wise. Now, at this time, you guys, since you've been following my guide, you have basically an obscenely badass city. Like, you have an obscene amount of homes that are converted into gold epics. Like, your city is almost too good. Like, truthfully it is. You're going to have so many gold epics, you're not going to know what to do with yourself. You're going to have so many resources that you're not going to be able to spend them all. And basically, you're not ever going to want for anything, right? Saying that you followed my guide 100%. So, let's go into the point where you're bored. You've got all this Sims cash, you got a shit ton of keys, you have anything you've ever wanted, you purchased, you know, like a whole wall of waterfalls and four-pointers and beach deltas, and your storage is maxed, your land is maxed, I mean, everything is pristine, it's all done. And you're bored as fuck. Well, I don't blame you. And honestly, that's kind of what I was worried about when I wrote the guide, was that it was too good. That it would be to the point where people would be entertained for, like, you know, a year, and then they would be bored as fuck because their city is done. You know, everything is done. They have nothing to do. Okay, so you're at that point where, you know, you've won the contest of mayors so many times you lost count. Your city's perfect. Everything's good. And you're basically looking for a challenge at this point. You know, you're finishing your epics in, 10 minutes, and you've been finishing your epics in 10 minutes. You have hundreds of epics that are, gold. You've got all of your Omega services set up, so you don't, have all those services. You have all this Sims cash and all these buildings. So you've got all this shit, and you have nothing left to do. That is when you need to say, okay, do I want to add on a challenge? Now, before you do this, you need to basically make sure that you are done playing the Contest of Mayors competitively. When you get to this point, you're basically pulling the plug on that in terms of, yeah, you may be able to win, but it's going to cost you a hell of a lot more than it ever did before, and it's going to complicate things. So you've reached level 43. What this means is you have unlocked every item in the game besides whatever regional items that you would unlock based on that particular map. Now, in order for you to design the things that you want to design, you need to unlock regionals to get those regional trees unlocked. If you're somebody who does not care about the regional trees and you don't want to fuck your game up and, you don't care about regionals, then you don't have to. But eventually you're going to run out of space for all of your buildings, and you're not going to have anything to do. You're going to be bored as hell, okay? So once you've reached that point, you've reached the point where you're bored, you don't care, you want to get these trees unlocked, you want to know what map to unlock. What should you do? Well, let's figure that out, okay? The very first thing that you need to know before unlocking a regional is the effect it's going to have on your city. It's going to make everything cost more. all of your house upgrades, your war shipments, anything in the game that can request items is now going to be able to request these items. Now, you will need to take into consideration that you are going to have a new store, so that you need to set aside some cash to unlock the shop slots for that. Now, that's not going to be a big deal for somebody following the Missy's Building Guide, but for those of you who are not following the guide, that could be a big deal. So you've got to the point where you're looking at these regional maps and you want to know which one you should pick and why. Well, there's a couple of things that you need to take into consideration before you pick a regional map. One, all the items on the regional maps are going to suck. You know, they don't really... There's not any that really suck more than the other. You know, they all suck. Like, for example, motors want drills, which sucks. And the Sunny Valley, or whatever, Sunny Island, or whatever that stupid one is called, it wants melons, okay, for the drinks. The fish barf soup, that disgusting puke in a bowl, that thing wants spatulas. That one, there seems to be an overload of requests for that particular item, but that's the medium regional item, and that one is ridiculous. So the first thing that you want to take into consideration isn't the items that you're unlocking, because like I said, they're going to suck no matter what. It's one, the shape of the map. Okay, that's important. The look of the map, but more importantly, the trees. If that's something that you want to use for design, then you want to look at which trees you're going to be unlocking for that particular map. Okay, so if you go to your landscape tab here and you scroll over, you will see the beginning. These trees here, these are all available to you, okay, for cash. All those trees are available to you, these three. But this one is not. Okay, this one is only available to those who have the limestone map unlocked. This one is available to you if you have the sunny map unlocked. Now, you can tell which map it belongs to by simply clicking on it, and then it says requirements, and it tells you which map is required. Now, there's two different sizes. Okay, the small ones cost 250 regional currency coins wise, because you're going to have a different currency. Then you have the larger trees, the 4-pack, which is 100 Sims cash. Okay, so basically that would be 25 Sims cash a piece. Now, this one is for the Frosty map. Okay, this one is for the Green Valley map. So I would pick the one that you not only like the look of the best, but the one that has the best looking trees, if that's something that you focus on with design. For me, trees are extremely important when it comes to design. They make a huge difference in the way that your displays are going to look. So if you're somebody who really cares about designing, then you would definitely want to pick the type of tree that you like the look of the best. Now, the way that these trees look when they're placed on your map is going to be a little bit different than the way that they look in the menu. So, for instance, notice how the Green Valley trees, they kind of popcorn out. They look really good along the sides of the water, or if you're trying to block off like a roadway, you know, from being seen or whatever. The dark green trees, those ones usually kind of branch out. They're good at blocking stuff off. They're super dark, so they accent really bright buildings. The yellow trees, those ones you don't need a whole lot of. They can kind of get overwhelming at times. The sunny trees, the palm trees, those ones, and the Joshua trees from the cactus map, those two I usually use if there's a building that I want to be able to kind of see, but I want to put a tree in front of, because they're super thin. And then you have the tall, like bamboo tree or whatever kind of style tree, whatever that thing is, from the limestone map. Now that one, it kind of glows. It's really bright, it's tall, and it's dense. So it's something that you can usually use like in the back of a bunch of trees to kind of accent, you know, like the buildings or the way that you're having the terrain go. So it really just kind of depends on what you want. Now the first 3 regional maps are going to be super easy to unlock. But here's the thing. When you first unlock a regional map, the population requirement for the next map needs to be met on your regional map. Okay? So here's the thing. When I first unlocked my regional maps, they were here's how do I explain this? So I was under the impression that I would just be able to basically start designing and doing whatever. But then I realized, okay, no, because what happened was when I unlocked them, there was only 3. Okay, so and we had all the items unlocked whether we had the map unlocked or not. So there was no need to not unlock it because we had the items no matter what. Then the game changes, and then they're like, oh, well, you're only going to have the items for which map you have unlocked. And back then, we didn't have regional shipping docks. We didn't have, I don't even think we had the regional trees. We had, like, nothing to spend the regional currency on. We might have had trees. I don't remember. But the point is, the only thing that we were able to really buy was the facility. And I'm like, well, that's stupid. Why? That's totally dumb. You don't even get taxes on the regional maps. And so I made sure to buy the storage unit, which is 5,000. But the problem is when you first unlock your regionals, I knew I wanted all the maps, right? Because why wouldn't I? I mean, I'm trying to complete the game. I want to be able to design on every map, and I want to be able to have access to all of the content, like the trees and the hotspots. So in order to get the last map, you have to have 10 million people on just your regionals. Your capital map is not included in that. So I was unable to set up my regional maps the way that I wanted to in order to meet those population requirements. Now, you don't have 5 maps to hit 10 million pop, okay? You have 4 regionals to do it because you haven't unlocked the 5th one yet, and your capital doesn't count. So between 4 maps, you need to hit 10 million people. Now, that's not impossible, but it's definitely shitty, okay? Especially when you need mostly regional items to build on those maps, even if you're doing just, you know, regular homes or whatever. So definitely, it's going to take some work, and it's going to take a lot of buildings, a lot of pop boosts, you know. But I was able to get it done and unlock the last one. Now, before you make your selection, note that the first 2 or 3 are super easy to unlock, but you should definitely take into consideration all of these things before making your selection. You know, the type of map that you're looking at, the type of trees, and the hotspots. So let's talk about those hotspots. So if you go to like the transportation tab and you scroll all the way to the end, you have these buildings here along the back. Now, if you look, it tells you the requirement, the map in which you need. You can have as many of these as you can purchase. They do cost regional coins. And what these are is they're buildings that can be upgraded, and you can boost the pop and the epic pointers on them. So every time you upgrade them, basically, as you start to add people to your map, you'll get these notifications that say new hotspot level reached. Okay, then you start like moving stuff around again, boost your pop up a little bit, and it says new hotspot level reached. Once you've reached those hotspot levels, you can upgrade your hotspots with regional currency. Now, these coins get super, super expensive, okay, these upgrades get super, super expensive. So you want to make sure that you are making your regional items and selling them for regional currency only. So many people sell the regional items for coin. Do not sell them for coin. It's not worth the regular coin. Regular coin is way too easy to get to sell it for regular coin. So what you're going to do is basically, let's say you place it down. You can place any regional hotspot anywhere on any map. It doesn't matter. But what you'll see is you'll see this green arrow, and you guys will have contest to mayor's assignments for this as well. So right here, this one wants 2,300 regional currency. That's actually really cheap. That means that this is like the the second upgrade. Now you can see by clicking on it, it says what level it is. Right underneath the name, it says it's a level 1. If we click the information button here, it tells us that this thing is worth 1 epic point and does a 20% pop boost, okay, at level 1. It also tells us that we have a population requirement of 3,000 that needs to be met before we can even place one of these down. Now, let's pull out one of the ones that I have a little bit more upgraded. So, like this one is, see the area on it? The area gets larger, the coverage zone. So this one is actually a level 7, and this one wants 24,000 to upgrade. Now, if we click at it, the next upgrade brings this building up to a 4-pointer, which is awesome, okay? And a 60% pop boost. Now, these can go all the way up to 5 epic points. That is badass. 5 epic points is going to make a huge difference in terms of your epic projects. But the problem is, so does regional maps. Regional items also make a huge difference in your epic projects. Because they can ask for those items, it's very problematic. You definitely, for me, I spend a lot of my regional currency on trees. You know, I also do upgrade hotspots and things like that. But if you're on top of it, what you want to do is you want to do your regional shipments. You want to do these as much as possible. You want to sell the items to the bubbles that pop up like this. See how it's offering me $200 for 4 sandals. You know, that's not the best deal, but it's not the worst deal either. So I'm going to go ahead and click yes. That gave me 191. But that's what I do. I sell my regional items for regional currency. Now, when you first unlock the regional map, once you reach the population requirement, you'll be able to click on your regional thing here, and here you have a storage facility. This is going to cost 5,000 regional currency, and you need 5,000 people on your regional map to purchase it. What this does is it gives you 20 storage immediately to kind of make up for some of those extra items that you're going to be holding. Each regional map allows you to unlock the 20 space. So if you are wondering how I have 810 space, that's how. You have 700 that you're allowed to unlock with storage items. That is the maximum storage you can have on just a normal unlock. Then you get 20 per regional map. That brings you up to 800. And then you get whatever temp storage is in the Mayor's Pass or the VU Pass. So I believe the highest you can go up to is like 860 maybe. If you were to unlock all 3 of the VU Pass. I'd have to go count. But I know that it's right around that area. Okay, so the VU Pass is not ideal because it's only good for, you know, like a week or 2 or whatever, depending on at what time you buy it and which level you purchase will determine how many of the storage unlocks you get. But it's not ideal because you have to buy every level of the pass, and it's just full of war crap. So unless you're an avid war player, there's really no point in that. But basically that's the gist of it, is each map has its own designated hotspots that you unlock. So also keep that in mind when you make your selection. And then once you get to your regional maps, what'll happen is, if you follow the Missy's Building Guide, a lot of you guys are going to have a shit ton of regional coins stacked up from the Mayor's Pass, you know. And you guys are also going to have a shit ton of Neo-Simoleons stacked up from the Mayor's Pass. So, for instance, CPT, when he got to level 30, he unlocked Omega the other day. He went through, he did his 1 upgrade on his Omega house to get the 3 homes, and then he was able to purchase 2 of each of the services and delete all of his other services, which was awesome. And he didn't even have to make any canisters to do that. Because he followed my guide, he had all of those coins stacked up from the pass. So that was super, super awesome. That would have saved him hundreds of thousands of dollars in coins being, converted from canisters and sold for neo-simoleons. So he was able to get those services done. Now, the same thing's going to happen when you guys finally do unlock regional maps. All of those coins that you've been stacking up over, the year that you've been playing, you're going to have the 5,000 that you need for that storage facility, which is a huge asset, let me tell you, because it took me weeks of making items and selling them and doing shipments to be able to afford that kind of stuff, because I had to also upgrade homes with the items. So I wasn't able to just sell everything that I made, and there's not a whole lot of these on the global market. So with the Missy's Building Guide, you're already set up. Then you need to take into consideration that you are going to have, depending on which map you unlock, you're going to have access to the beach again, the mountain on the Frosty map, and land unlocks, right? So you're going to need dozer. And if you're too high level, you're not going to find, all that much dozer. But because you've been following the Missy's Building Guide, you are going to have a shit ton of those land deeds stocked up. You get several of them per pass, and you guys have had your land unlocked from the very beginning. So you've had nothing but deeds, 2 or 3 deeds sometimes in one mayor's pass that you've been stocking up for a year. You're going to be able to unlock a good section of your map when you finally do get to that point. So, all of those resources that you guys are collecting in on are not going to waste. They will be used later. It's just a matter of getting to that point. And then, of course, you guys will have all of the stuff from the Mayor's Pass, dozer and things like that you'll be able to utilize to unlock the rest of your map. When you do get to the point where you're unlocking your map on your regionals, I recommend that you get them done, as soon as possible, because the lower the level, the better, chances you have. But honestly, it'll just give you something to do, because you guys are going to be so, good off. It'll barely even be a challenge for you guys, is what I'm saying. Even when you get to this point, you guys already are having it so much easier than the average player. Most players unlock the regional maps. They got 200 space. They've got no epics to fall back on. They've got no resources, no cash. All around, they're just doing shitty. Their algorithm's screwed. They've got all these assignments that they can't complete. So you guys are definitely going to be doing really, really good when you get to the point when you're at the part 4 of the Missy's Building Guide. So once you get to that point and you've picked your regional map, okay, you started using your deeds, I recommend that you try to follow the path that requires the most. So like, let's say that you unlocked a section of your map. Try to go towards the bridge. Try to unlock it towards the bridge and then go into the next section, because usually that makes it more expensive. That way you're getting the most unlocked for the section that you're in. So like your deeds, if you have, let's say you have like 10 of each dozer or whatever, they don't allow you to use them unless you are out of deeds. So if you have a deed, you have to use it, okay? Now, that means that you would want to use the deed on the spots that are most expensive, right? But the game doesn't just let you come like way over here and pick the expensive spot. You have to start at the beginning. So what I'm telling you is, rather than go all the way this way, if it's cheaper, try to go towards the bridge and get the most expensive ones done first. Now, that pretty much concludes like what you need to know in terms of unlocking regionals. But how quickly should you unlock them? Well, that kind of depends on you and your game and what you want to do. But ultimately, essentially you need the population that you need, and you're going to need the items that you're going to need. In terms of like algorithm and stuff, it's not going to make all that much of a difference. because of the fact that you're not leveling, but you are unlocking items. But the items that you're unlocking are not really flooded on the global market anyways. The only thing that you should be concerned of is that the more you unlock, the harder your epics will be. So if you're somebody who's still building epics and you want them to be easy or cheaper, then you would want to limit the amount of regionals that you have unlocked. If you're somebody who's still attempting to play the contest, then you will see how one regional map affects your contest of mayors, and you'll see what I'm saying, and then you can determine, you know, what's right for you if you want to continue to unlock something or if you don't. Either way, at some point, you're probably going to unlock them all. So you don't want to spend a whole lot of time designing this big, elaborate, beautiful map just to end up not having enough pop to unlock, you know, the rest of them. Make sure that you take into consideration, you know, the trees is what was most important for me, you know, because I wanted to make my capital look really nice. So I would make a lot, basically, I would make a lot of regional items, sell them, you know, for the regional currency, and then I would do the regional shipments and things like that. You know, so anytime I see regional items on the global market, I would purchase them and then I would sell them for regional currency in my city. To be honest, you know, for the medium items, which is the middle one, it's you usually get right around 44 to 48 coins per one of those. And then the large regional item, you usually get right around like 87 to 97 of the coins for that. So anything lower than that, I try to click no and say, you know, offer me something better, as they are pretty tedious to make. The large regional items, I think almost all of them are 3 hours or higher to make. So definitely be aware of that. You should get those tasks in your list again. Like, for instance, when I unlocked Frosty, I started getting those mountain tasks again to unlock the mountainside. But, you know, it kind of depends on the game. I've had people say that they never get mountain or beach tasks after, you know, unlocking their regionals. So it really depends on your game. But that pretty much concludes what I have to say about the regional maps. Okay, so the next thing, just heads up you guys, if you want to do an epic project on a regional map, you need to build a regular house. Okay, you cannot convert a regional home into an epic project. So building the regular homes on your regional map is the only way. Now, there is a regional epic on each map. So it's completely random. You know, there's no way to increase the odds of getting it or anything. But basically, each regional has its own epic project that it can convert into. And like, for instance, I think I've done like 10 or 11 epics on my cactus map, and I only have one of those, which is this one here in the back. It kind of glows pink, this one. All the others are just the regular style. And then there's the one, I don't have the one on the green valley map yet, but I do have the one on the sunny map, which I really like that one as well. And I only have one of those, but again, I've only built like 11 epics on my sunny map. But I'll show you guys that one. The one on the mountain region, or the frosty region, is super tall. I don't really care much for it, but where is it? Oh, it's over here. Okay, so this is the regional home on the sunny map. It's this big tall one here, which I actually like this one. It's got like a little swimming pool like right in the center. It's got people like walking around up top. That one is cool. I like that one. The rest of them are just the regular, you know, epics along the back that you can see here. So, yeah, that pretty much is it. you guys. So good luck, and if you have any questions, you're more than welcome to hit me up on Facebook. If you want to join our Facebook page, type in SimCity Build It MissyAnneYT. We post all over the guides, video links, and things like that are posted to the page. If you click on the announcements section when you go to the group, you'll be able to see the links to all the guides. I do post the links in the descriptions of the video, but I haven't uploaded them on the last like 10 videos. I need to do that, but I will get that done. For those of you who haven't already, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. The channel's been growing actually quite a bit. We've already went up like 200 subs the last couple weeks, so we were finally able to hit the 1,000 subs, which was awesome. Anybody here who hasn't subscribed, just click the subscribe button and then it'll notify you, anytime I go live or post videos, which is honestly all the time. So yeah. All right, you guys, good luck.